Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Flow with Flow. So today's episode is a very interesting one, and I think it's really going to get your ears right up and your interest held all the way. So who am I speaking with today? So my guest today is Ilze Alberts. Hello, Ilze.
Hello, Flow with Flow. I love it. Flow with Flow.
Thank you very much. It's so wonderful to have you on the show. And Ilse, if I may just bring myself back actually to when we first interacted, and I'll say I interacted with you. You were standing on stage at my son's school, and you had come to do a talk. And I remember sitting in the audience as a parent, listening and thinking and feeling like the talk was for me. And you did a talk on bullying, and we all know that in schools, it's something that's a really big deal. And I remember thinking you were so impactful. So as a psychologist speaking on the topic, you really were so impactful. And I remember the nuggets. I won't give them away for everyone else. I'll let you do that. But thank you for just coming on to share some of your nuggets around this whole area around bullying. And as a psychologist, and I believe you are also a published author, I had a little squiz at Passing the Torch, Preserving Family Wealth. Very interesting topic but that could be for another day. But thank you, Ilze. And maybe let me start off with just asking you a little bit around how did you get into what you do now? Where did that come from? What was your motivation for the work that you do?
Flo, I have been a psychologist for 42 years already. And in my journey over the 42 years, I have learned so much about human behavior. As I also went through my own journey in life, I learned so much about how to handle challenges. So I chose this. I don't want to call it, it's not my work, it's not my job, it is my love. It's my acts of service I bring to humanity. And I'm very, very passionate about it. I see this as my purpose and my calling. And I have done a huge amount of training and finding the right mentors to help me along the way. So I am in the middle of a very, very fulfilling and purposeful vocation. It's like, I think that's maybe the best description of it. But Flo, what makes me more what I am is I am a mom. I'm a mom of 3 grown-up children. Wow. And I'm a grandmother of 2 amazing granddaughters. One is almost 4 and the younger one is in fact 1 today.
Oh, happy birthday for her.
Yeah, thank you. And it has enriched my life tremendously. And I cannot wait to be a very impactful granny, Oma in their lives and show them the way, as I've done it for many, many, many other families and children. And then just one sideline about me. I love playing golf. I don't play golf well, but I play it because it's an amazing experience to be out in nature and to be with people. So I just love people. And when you approach me about this, I very seldom say no to talks like this and interviews like this, because I also know it will touch other people's lives, and that is my legacy I want to leave. And you spoke about bullying, and people have such a one-sided perception of bullying. And I would like to help our listeners to have a better understanding of it. And then also to understand what it is that we can do to change the dance between a bully and a bullied? And also, what about boundaries? Is it important to set boundaries? So if I can start.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt you. I was going to say, I love what you're saying about changing the dance. It's so profound, changing the dance. And yeah, so let you carry on there.
Okay, so every one of us on this planet has had moments where we perceived that we are getting bullied. And then we had moments where we bullied. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we bully our wives, our husbands, we bully our children bully us. But those are the more daily occurrences of bullying. And then you get the more serious ones that happen at work, the harassment, which is a serious form of bullying. But if you learn to look differently, if you are at the receiving end of that you perceive that you are getting bullied, that is feedback to you. That in that relationship between the person who is bullying you and you being at the receiving end, that you are the more disempowered one. And that is wonderful feedback that gives you information about where are areas of your life that you can focus on to grow yourself and empower yourself. Because the one that is the most confident, with the highest self-esteem, the most certainty, will be the one who will be doing the bullying. God. So if you are the one who is at the receiving end of it, you will be the one who is not knowing what to do about it. And I've said to so many children, teenagers, adults that I've been working with in this topic, it's an open invitation to you to say, so where am I going to invest in myself and grow myself? That this dance will not happen anymore. Because we as parents raise our children, we wish and desire for them to be independent and confident and self-reliant and wonderful self-esteem and successful. And then all parents say, I just want my children to be happy. And then we raise them like those kind of kids. And now they can be overpowering and too assertive, sometimes a little bit arrogant, a little bit maybe self-righteous. And then at the other side will be another person, maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, that's not as certain, not as empowered, and will be feeling I'm getting bullied.
Got you. So at some point, the scales are not equal, if that makes sense.
Yes. So we are all in relationships, we all equal. But the moment this is happening and the one is being perceived to be up here and the other one here, the top dog and the underdog, or the one that is on the pedestal and the one that is in the pit. The moment this happens and this one looks down at the other one, that is when careless behavior will happen that can be seen as bullying. The moment this is happening, you look up to another person, careful behavior will follow, and you will walk on eggshells and will do whatever you can to please the other person. So it's a very unequal, unbalanced relationship.
Got you. So I have a question relating to that. Do you think, in your experience, does the personality of, you know how you get your A-type personalities and you get, you get your more assertive personality types, you get your maybe quieter, maybe more introverted. Does that have a bearing at all, do you think, in what you have seen?
Yes and no. It doesn't mean when you are more driven, more assertive, that you will be on the top dog. It doesn't mean that, because the personality types do play a role, but not necessarily the assertive one, the extroverted one against the introverted one.
Okay.
It's more about your self-beliefs. And you form your self-beliefs around the age of 3, 4, 5 years. And we've all formed the self-beliefs, which becomes our default mode that we then run our lives on subconsciously. I'm not good enough. I'm not wanted. I'm not important. I don't fit in. I can go on and on about those self-beliefs, all 100% negative. Definitely not anything that you would choose consciously if you had more awareness. And then from those default modes, we run our lives until we become conscious. So in a relationship, when there's an unequal balance and you are feeling that you're the more disempowered one, the one that is receiving the bullying, and you become aware of the benefits for you that it's happening. When you really ask yourself, how is this serving me? What are the benefits for me? You will see a very different picture. And I've often said to children and even teenagers, the person that is bullying you is actually working for you because they are helping you with your self-empowerment.
That's incredible. And that actually makes a lot of sense. So somebody once said to me in the workplace, Ilze, one of my colleagues, and he was a coach, and he said to me, but this person who's giving you such a hard time, they are your gift. And I remember saying to me, in what way, shape, or form is this person my gift? And they said, well, they are causing you to assess the situation and make new decisions, come to different conclusions. And I thought that was so incredible.
It's so true. I can just think of a client I've worked with very recently, been married for 30 years, to a very successful businessman. And she's also in her own right, very successful. Quite a known person in our country. And she has been in this 30 years of marriage, being totally the underdog, pleasing, walking on eggshells, so much so that the pain of his behavior became so painful for her. His infidelity and carelessness, that she actually decided to take a very drastic step in looking after herself and changing the dynamic, and she filed for a divorce. That was the most significant action step that she could have taken for herself. And it was definitely a very difficult, hard road for her. Took a lot of hard work to get to that place. But to say, I'm setting a boundary for myself. I'm valuable. I'm important. I deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. And if he chooses not to treat me like that, he does not deserve to be in a marriage with me.
So it was actually self-knowledge.
It was self-knowledge and a decision to choose me. So that was, it's a drastic decision. A divorce is drastic. So you can understand how much pain she has been experiencing over so many years. At the pain became too much. And when pain becomes too much for us, you know what we do then?
What do?
We change. We change because we cannot stand and live with the pain anymore. We change how we do things.
that is very, very it's very important to underscore that. And if you think about the and it's a question I had for you actually when I was just thinking, and I was like, what is the biggest difference between the type of kind of bullying that I would have experienced as a child in school? I mean, I'll never forget when I was 6 years old, there was this girl. She just had it out for me, and it was always about me. Apparently, I always used to make friends with the new kids, but I believed in welcoming new kids to the school. And then it became a big issue because the child was the principal's daughter. So apparently I was trying to like curry favor because she was the principal's. And I'm thinking, I'm just saying hello to this girl, So if I think of an instance like that, and then I go years later into the workplace, and I think of an instance where I had to your point, I had to make that change to say, I won't accept this treatment. I'm experiencing it, but I choose to step away from it. I can't change that person, but I can make a new choice. And that's what I realized I had to do. And I was just wondering, is there a marked difference in how we handle bullying when we're children and how we handle bullying when we are now grown-ups?
I think we learn first how to handle it when we're children, and we build on that as adults. But I want to ask you a question. So you were a young girl. At what age you said you were? About
I was 6.
Okay. And she was more confident than you, more certain, more assertive.
Yes.
Which often happens to a child who is coming from a variety of backgrounds, either an overprotective parent or parents, or an only child, or the only girl among boys or the only boy among girls.
Those are interesting dimensions. So which one was she? She was the only girl in her family.
Now I'm talking about you.
Oh, me?
No, you were
okay.
the one getting bullied, yes.
So I was a third child at that point. So I was the last born of 3. So we were all close in age. I was 6, my sister was 8, my brother was 9. So that's one dimension. Where else would I fit in there? Let's see. My parents were teachers, so we used to ride to school. So I guess we weren't overly protected, but they did keep us very much in the fold. There was none of the sleepovers. Yeah. They kept us safe and secure at home. You went from school.
Okay. Great. And that is the desire for every child, to be safe and secure and in that fold in the family. You were the baby of the family.
Yes, at that time.
And as the baby in the family, who gets away with the most?
I did, of course.
Of course.
That's interesting.
So when you get away as the baby with the most, do you expect life to be easier and going along your way because that's how it is at home?
Yes, actually I did.
And does it make you a little bit of a brat to your 2 siblings?
Absolutely. I really was quite a tricky one. My siblings will say the same, because I could get away with quite a lot. Because my mom would just say, oh, let her. Oh, leave her. Oh,
let her. She's the youngest.
She's the youngest. Let her.
Yeah. So do you think that your brother and sister at times perceived that you were freaking bullying them?
I believe so, yes. My sister would certainly say so. And if I think about it, I did get away with utter nonsense. Like I would say, this is my side of the room. You can't come to my side of the room. And I always had these little rules that I came up with. And my older sister just used to pander to them. She'd let me be. So that is interesting. So I actually exhibited the bully tendencies.
At home.
At home, yes.
At home. And now you got to school and you realize, oh, this is not the same as at home. I'm not the queen bee. this goal is actually going for me.
Yes.
Okay, so when do we as human beings grow the most? When we're in cotton wool or when life is challenging us?
Definitely a challenge.
Yes, yes. So if you are the little queen bee of the family and getting away with everything and becoming a little bit arrogant about, or how you can just rule, you will go to school and there will be a girl that will see that and will be a little bit more secure about herself and will serve you in a beautiful way by waking you up.
Yes.
Okay. And giving you a challenge because that has grown you. Also happens with single children because at home you get bullied by your siblings. Okay. When you're the only child, you will often experience some forms of bullying at school because that is also, once again, giving some opportunity for growth, self-insight and growth. And don't think children don't know how to do that. Children are very wise, very wise.
But what you're saying is so insightful, Ilze. Also, even if I apply to the world of work with grown-ups and those dynamics in the workplace, we also, to your point, coming from different environments as we come into the world of work. And I think especially with the young graduates, they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and entering the workplace, and then, things are not necessarily as they expect. And I guess some of those tips around how to cope with those scenarios, because like you're saying, the situation presents itself as a gift, but it's about understanding how to navigate.
Okay, so you will definitely not feel that it's a gift. You will feel very challenged, very anxious to go to school, to do work, insecure, thinking of finding another job. And and this is an important point, when the pain of being in that workplace becomes far more than the pleasure, when the pain starts to outweigh the pleasure, only then will the person who is perceiving that they're getting bullied, will they start to put down boundaries. Either go and speak to a superior. Doesn't help to resign and find another job because the bully is going to follow you in another form. So to either, like we teach our children, go and tell your teacher, come and tell mom, to go and speak to a superior. But that in itself is not going to stop it because the boss or the manager is not there all the time to check. And mommy and daddy are not there on the playground to check all the time, or neither is teacher. And to learn to stand up for yourself and not in an aggressive way of I'm going to show you. Learning to stand up for yourself is the change between having a body language that is imploding. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing.
Yes, you're
your
like
head is
forward.
hanging down. Yes, your shoulders are, yes, you're leaning forward, to standing up. And just a change in body language will help you to feel a change in yourself. Secondly, to also decide for yourself, what do I really wish? What is my heart's desire? Do I wish and desire to stay in this position? Or is this actually helping me to go and find another job?
Those are
just
powerful
helping me?
questions.
Now, is this helping me to do what I truly want to do? If I choose that I want to stay in this job, what am I going to do to stop the behavior of this person, because the change must start in me.
Yes.
So I can go and have a very direct confrontation with the person and say, this behavior is unacceptable and it will stop right now. If you choose, if the feedback to you is, I choose to go and I don't want to be in this job anymore. It's this person that is so hard on me and so unfair on me. It's actually just showing me to be more true to myself. I want to resign. I want to find another job. But before you go and say to that person, I'm not leaving because of you, but I want you to know your behavior is unacceptable. Because then the bully will not follow you to the next workplace.
Yes, because you've actually made you've put like a, what's it called, a peg in the ground to say this is acceptable or this is not acceptable. And I love what you say about then the bully will not follow you, because to your point, a new situation, if you haven't done the work inside, it's going to repeat itself, maybe in a different way.
100%. So I think lots of people know the saying, if you marry a drug addict or alcoholic, and you divorce him, and guess what? You marry another one. Because those behaviors will follow us until we learn to deal with it.
Yes.
To set boundaries now down for ourselves, and then to be assertive about how we expect others to treat us.
Yes.
There's a very, very important saying. To the degree I value myself, the world will value me.
Wow. To the
a
degree,
lot of people,
I
value myself.
To the degree I value myself,
the world will value me.
The world will value me. Wow. Powerful.
If I value myself as a person that is important, special, precious, here with a purpose, here to make a difference, have a meaning in life. If I value myself for the impact that I have on other people's lives, my contribution I bring to the world, if I value myself with that, subconsciously, others will do the same for me and with me.
And with that, and it actually change how people receive you.
I so often hear in relationships how the female will say, he is such a narcissist. So the world is filled with narcissistic men, according to a lot of women. And yes, we are all narcissists and altruists. What that means, if I am comparing myself to a coin has two sides. Every person can be compared to a coin with two sides. The one side, we are all narcissistic. It's about me. It's about my survival. I'm important. And if I don't look after myself first, I can't look after others.
True.
So 50% of every human being is narcissistic. And 50% of every human being is altruistic, pleasing.
That is so interesting. And if you think about it, that makes a lot of sense. So saying narcissistic doesn't mean narcissistic is is a bad trait. We all have to look after ourselves, but we also have an altruistic side to us. Is that what you're basically saying?
No,
Like
but I just
sides?
yeah. So when you are coining another person as a narcissist, I will invite you to go and see where and when are moments that you portray narcissism. And it might be your children who says, she just wants us to put our towels in the laundry basket all the time. It's just all about her. It can be something,
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
So to go and see, where do I and others perceive there are moments that I am a narcissist?
Yes.
And then this person that I've now just labeled and coined as being such a narcissist, my mother, my husband, my sister, my boss, whoever, where do they have the other side? Where do I see they have also an altruistic side?
Yes.
Because when I change the way I look at a person, the person changes. They don't really change. It's your perceptions that change.
Correct. Wow, those are some sure. We've got a few aha moments going on here. Personally, I've had quite a few. And what's interesting that you say with the narcissism and the altruism is, I once read somewhere that said, we all have equal capacity for good and bad. All of us. We have our dark side, we have our light side, we have all of that. And in respect of that, to your point that when we perceive the situation a little differently, in I know in some of the work that I do, we talk about antagonists and protagonists in change. We say this one is an antagonist, but they are suffering. They have a source of suffering. That's why they are acting like that. There's a source of pain. And I imagine that when we look at all of us, each one of us as human beings, we all have a source of pain, and we all have a source of pleasure, or where we get our altruistic side.
We need an altruistic side, equal and opposite to the narcissistic side. That is how we are made.
Yes.
Okay, we made like that. It's the yin and the yang.
Yes.
The two sides of the same coin.
Wow, it brings a very different light to, when we speak about coming back to speaking about bullying and, what people can do to take back that sense of, I don't know whether you call it a sense of control over themselves. If you were to give any parting sort of words outside of the absolute golden nuggets you've just landed one after the other, what would some of those parting nuggets be, especially for us grown-ups? We think we're so grown up. Sometimes think we're grown up 5-year-old versions of ourselves, but us
we are, yes.
We are, aren't we?
Yes. That's a great question, Flo. And what comes up for me as the number one is know what your heart's desires are. We subordinate so easily to what the world says, how we must do life. And this is a deep question that lots of people battle with. Not what is expected of me, but what do I truly, deeply, intrinsically desire for my life? And once I can know that and I can write it down and speak it out, I can say, but what action steps am I willing to take so that my heart's desires can be fulfilled? And knowing it might take 20 years because overnight success, Jack Welch of General Electric, GE, said takes 25 years.
Wow.
Overnight success can take up to 25 years. But to know what's my heart's desires for the relationships I want,
Yes.
My heart's desires for the relationship at work I want. My heart's desires for my relationship with my partner, my friends, with life. What do I desire and what am I willing to do that those can be fulfilled? I personally can name you many moments that I thought my husband is a big fat bully because he just does what he narcissistically wants because he's such a narcissist. You know, I can just echo those words of so many people. And then I have to really bring myself to a halt and say, okay, Madame Ilze, where are you a bully to him?
Yes.
And when you are perceiving that he is bullying you as this narcissistic asshole, what message is that to you? Yes. How's that serving you? What's the gift of that to you? And what are you going to do about that? And then I realize he actually works for me because he works for my self-empowerment.
He keeps you on the journey of self-growth.
And this, yes.
Yes.
100%. And that is true for the people that challenge us. And those that support us just help us to rest and breathe and relax again and pick up our pieces and feel whole and complete for a couple of moments again and laugh and appreciate it until life's next challenge comes.
Absolutely. Wow. I do love the way that that you sort of round that off to say, you know, we've got the people that will challenge us and we have those that kind of, you know, the ones who catch us and who make it all feel like everything's all rosy again. And maybe it's our friends, maybe it's family. And it's important to have both. You know, I think when we speak of a full life, you know, we speak of all the aspects of our life. And I guess that's part of it. People being able to make sure that in every aspect of our lives, we've got people whose lives we are enriching, but people who also enrich our lives. You know, then we've got balance.
There is a balance of challenges and supporters in everyone's life, in every moment. The gift is to go and see where is the side I think is missing. That is the gift you can give yourself.
Wow. Incredible. And Ilze, I would love to bottle the conversation we've just had. And the wonderful thing is we've kind of have bottled this. So I'm hoping that many people out there will, you know, take the time to listen for themselves or to listen for others, because I do think that passing on, you know, this sort of, I call it fertilizer. You know, when you plant, you need to put fertilizer and then the plants will grow. This is fertilizer, lots of it. So thank you so much for having spent this time with us. I know that you have a very full life right now and you're busy with a lot of things. And I would just like to say how much I really appreciate you having come on to the show, having had this conversation with all of us, actually. And for that, I would just really like to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
Flo, if I made a difference to one person's life, then the last hour was a very wise investment for me.
Absolutely. And I do believe you made a difference to multiple. So thank you so much. And I just wish you all the best. I do believe that you've got lots of interesting things happening soon. And I wish you all the best with everything that you're up to, and just God bless you, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Flo, and may your show go from strength to strength.
I really appreciate that. Thank you, Elsa.
Thank you.
And to everyone out there, thank you for joining us. Thank you for having spent the time with us. And here's hoping that you got some upliftment, you got some enlightenment, you got a little bit of inspiration from our conversation today. And I will see you again in no time at all. And just remember to keep it flowing, keep it moving, keep it going. We're not done with this life yet. Have a lovely and blessed week. Bye.